this whole Oh, is it into the, it needs to be in here. Here. Welcome to Prophecy Wire. I'm your host, MacKenzie Drebit, and today we're going to be going over kind of an introduction to this idea, the mark of the beast. Last time we looked at the Revelation 13 beast. We went through this first beast, and then the second beast, which is America, and it is going to speak like a dragon. Unfortunately, this fantastic, amazing, important superpower that looks like a lamb, but it's going to speak as a dragon. And we're going to find out exactly what that means today. We're going to kick it off with a video. And this video is from the G7 summit that just took place a couple weeks ago. Or actually, not even a couple weeks ago, a week ago. So we're going to go to the video here and show you guys exactly what is being said. Now, again, this is sort of an introduction. Now, we're going to be going over this idea of this global mark of the beast, because that's what it says in Revelation. We're going to open the Bible shortly.
The 2024 G7 Summit in Italy promises to be a pivotal event in shaping a more sustainable future for our planet. As the world's leading economies gather, the agenda will focus on critical issues such as economic resilience, security, and ethical AI development. The esteemed participation of Pope Francis will lend a moral voice to discussions on ethical AI development and global cooperation. Italy's diplomatic efforts will advocate for a ceasefire in Gaza and a reduction of tensions in the Middle East conflict. Italy is pushing for an ambitious coal phase-out by 2025, demonstrating its commitment to sustainable energy and environmental stewardship. The Italian presidency will prioritise the defence of the rules-based international system and engagement with developing nations and emerging economies. The summit's agenda will cover critical topics like stability in the Indo-Pacific region, cybersecurity, and the responsible development of artificial intelligence. One of the most significant proposals should be the introduction of a weekly Earth Sabbath to combat climate change and promote environmental stewardship. The weekly Earth Sabbath aims to establish a global day of rest and reflection on environmental sustainability, raising awareness, and inspiring collective action. By championing the weekly Earth Sabbath, Italy would position itself as a leader in international diplomacy and environmental sustainability on the global stage. The 2024 G7 Summit and the weekly Earth Sabbath proposal could present a unique opportunity to address pressing global challenges and foster international cooperation. We need protesters in Italy to act now as a voice for a weekly Earth Sabbath. By bringing together world leaders and engaging the global community, this summit has the power to drive meaningful change and shape a sustainable future. The 2024 G7 Summit in Italy promises...
Caught that information there. Now, the biggest point here in this video was this Earth Sabbath. Now, they had other very interesting points as well. The Pope, Pope Francis, being the moral voice that is going to be talking to everyone and giving this moral directive. And this is from the Pope's perspective, from the Catholic Church. Then we have mention of the 2025 agenda. So this 2025 agenda, we've been talking about this on Truth Matters. So if you guys haven't seen Truth Matters and the 2025 Project 2025, then go there and watch that. We're not going to cover all that today. But this is some really interesting points that they were going over. Then AI, that's an interesting one all the time. And then this Earth Sabbath. So Earth Sabbath, that's a very interesting term. So we have this sort of climate change agenda and this Earth Sabbath that is part of that. Now, we have what they said is going to be a global day of rest. And they made the end part of this video pretty long, talking about this Earth Sabbath and how this is something that we really need to do and protest and everything. So this is going to be something that is coming to all of us soon. And this is just talked about. This is hot off the press. This isn't something that, is a long time ago. But even then, this has been in the works for quite a while. We're going to be going into, in later episodes, some videos that are 20 and 30 years old talking about this, giving us insights to what's happening now, and that's super interesting. So make sure you guys are staying connected for that, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of these videos. And make sure that you guys are adding your questions in the comments, because we're going to be actually answering your questions here today. So put your questions below regarding to this topic. Our story begins in Revelation chapter 13. And we're going to connect what this Earth Sabbath has to do with Revelation 13, because this is the big question. Revelation 13 is quite the chapter. Now, Revelation 13 talks about this thing called the mark of the beast. And we're going to go there. And I know some people last time were bothered because I said that you should have this and not this. I use this all the time. So for Bible study, for searching, it's great. But there is nothing better than a physical Bible to really get your mind to engage and memorize things and to see. You see more clearly. So I like the physical thing. I think once they start turning technology off, we're going to be only on physical things. So you better get a Bible that you like to read. So let's go to Revelation chapter 13. And we're going to skip down to verse 11 because this is the time period that we're talking about today, because it has to do with us. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So this two-horned beast here is representative of America. And you can go back to some of our Truth Matters videos. We'll also talk about it here, where we talked about this earth beast, this beast coming up out of the land, representing America. And actually, we're working on a mini documentary series right now. It's getting ready to be released in the next couple weeks, actually, on America in Prophecy. You're going to want to stay tuned for that as well. So if you want, go to our e-newsletter subscription so that you don't miss any of those things. So this two-horned beast, we're going to skip down and find out what this two-horned beast actually does. And this is where our story picks up. So we have Revelation 13, verse 16 and 17, and I'm going to show you guys on the screen so you can follow along. If you don't have a Bible close by, maybe you're traveling, maybe whatever, you're watching on your phone, your laptop, iPad, and we're going to take a look here. And he causeth all. So who is doing the causing here? This is a very important question because this is what we have to deal with now. So, and he, this is the same he, this land beast, so this America. Wow. So America causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark of the beast, had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So we have this scenario where America is going to enforce what the Bible calls the mark of the beast. So what is the mark of the beast? And this is the question we're going to answer today because it's important. This is an evil mark. This is not God's mark. It says those who have not the seal of God. So we want to have the seal of God. We do not want to have the mark of the beast, right? We want to be like the people in Revelation chapter 7. Revelation 7. Having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. This is Revelation 7, verse 2. And now verse 3. Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. So you have the beast, which is going to make a mark, or this lamb-like beast that is going to make a mark of the first beast. And then you have this seal of God that is going to be placed in the foreheads of the righteous. So let's continue here. And we're going to see the connective parts to what this sign, seal, or mark is. Now we're going to go to Ezekiel 20, verse 20. And it says, and hallow my Sabbaths, and they shall be a what? A sign. A sign between me and you, that ye may know that I am the Lord your God. So what is the sign between God and his people? It is the Sabbath. Whoa, this seems very strange. How many people keep the Sabbath now? Well, we just have a couple groups of people that are keeping the seventh day as a Sabbath. And, well, is that what they're talking about here with these Earth Sabbaths? You know, every seventh day they're going to worship God? No. It's not. That's not what they're talking about. But let's continue. Deuteronomy 6, verse 6 to 8 says, and these words which I commanded thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. So are we supposed to teach our children these things? Yes. And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. So we have this sign, this seal, this mark of God, and that is the Sabbath, the things that he commanded them to keep. Now, where was it going to be placed? Their forehead and in their hand. So we have these two different places that it needs to be, because God doesn't just want your actions, he wants your mind. He wants this to be a conscious decision to do and obey. But the devil and the beast doesn't care. So this mark from the beast, it says in verse 16, Revelation 13, verse 16, And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their what? Their right hand or in their forehead. So he doesn't care if you consciously want to worship and follow him, or if you just go along because of force, because you don't have a choice. Now, we all have a choice, but they're going to feel they don't have a choice. Why? Because it says that he's going to make them not be able to buy or sell unless they have this mark. Well, what is this mark? Well, we found out what God's mark is. And his mark is something very interesting, and it's the day that he asked us to worship him. And that is the seventh day, that is the Sabbath. And we're going to continue finding out what this is. And it shall be for a sign unto thee upon thine hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, that the Lord's law may be in thy mouth. For with a strong hand hath the Lord brought thee out of Egypt. So we have this again repeated in the hand and in the forehead. And the Lord said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken upon him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. So these marks are being used to determine who has ownership. This seal of God, it's basically a branding. When you brand an animal, it shows who owns that animal. When you mark something, if I had, in this Bible, for instance, people will write their name in it. Or if they have a book, they'll write their name in it. They're putting their name on it. They're putting their brand. And it says that this 144,000 have, now let's go back to Revelation 13 here, but we're going to skip down just to the first verse of the next chapter, Revelation 14:1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, the same group that was in chapter 7, having the Father's name. This is where the seal is. Written in their foreheads. Isaiah 55, verse 13. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree, instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree, and it shall be to the Lord for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. These things are everlasting. These signs that God makes, they don't go away. Ezekiel 20:20 again. Hallow my Sabbaths, and they shall be a sign between me and you, that ye may know that I am the Lord your God. Now, we were just talking that Pope Francis is going to be talking at the G7. He's going to be giving moral guideline, and they're going to be doing something called an Earth Sabbath. So let's see what this day represents for them. Sunday is our mark of authority. This is from the Catholic Records, September 1, 1923. The church is above the Bible, and this transference of Sabbath observance is proof of that fact. So when we go back to Revelation 13, the first part, we see something very interesting. Now, we have a couple places that this beast is mentioned. It's mentioned in 13, and we see that it was speaking blasphemies. If we go to 13 verse 1, the last sentence, upon his heads the name of blasphemy. That's talking against God. That's making laws against God. So then if we go down, he has a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, that he's going to continue 42 months. Now, we're going to go to the book of Daniel, because Daniel gives us some more information about this beast and about this kingdom. So we're going to go here to Daniel chapter 7 and verse 25. 25. Daniel 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, almost the same language, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and dividing of time. So he wants to change laws that are blasphemous, which means he's changing God's law. And it has to be a law that has to do with time. And the only law that has to do with time is the Sabbath. And they say very clearly here, Sunday is our mark of authority. This is from Catholic Christian Instructed. What warrant have you for keeping Sunday, preferably to the ancient Sabbath, which was Saturday? Answer: we have for it the authority of the Catholic Church. So somehow, because they are this beast, this kingdom, this power, they are claiming to inertly have the ability to change the law of God. Our Sunday visitor, February 5, 1950. Presidents do not realize that by observance the Sunday, they accept Protestants. Sorry, I think I said presidents. I'm not sure. Protestants do not realize that by observance the Sunday, they accept the authority of the spokesperson of the church, the Pope. So who is the one that they are inevitably giving homage to when they do these things? When Protestants, and America is what is founded as a Protestant nation. That's what it was founded as. That's a lamb-like principle. But it's going to speak like a dragon, and it's going to make laws an image to the first beast. So here it's saying that you're making an image to this first beast. I apologize. I have something in my eye. This is live, guys, and now you know. This isn't a pre-recording. So they're going to give homage to the Pope. The agencies of evil are combining their forces and consolidating. They are strengthening for the last great crisis. Great changes are soon to take place in our world, and the final movements will be very extremely slow. No, it says they will be rapid ones. And I think everybody can see how rapid the events have been lately. They happen instantly. It goes from 0 to 100. We've seen that in the past couple of years. And make sure, everyone, that you keep putting your questions in the chat and comment whatever questions you have surrounding this topic, and we're going to try and get to them in a little bit. So please put your questions below. Now, we have all these different topics that we're going to cover over several episodes, and as things keep coming. We have so much more than what I'm showing here. We have the 2025 mandate. I mean, this we've talked about before. We've talked about the Vancouver Declaration a little bit. We're going to go into more detail into this Vancouver Declaration because it's extremely interesting, and I don't think many people still have heard about it. So we're going to actually go to someone who is talking about this all the way in the 90s already. And there's some very interesting things that we need to know today about this document that is going to give us insights into this mark of the beast that's coming. Great Controversy, page 605. The Sabbath will be the great test of loyalty, for it is the point of truth especially controverted when the final test shall be brought to bear upon men. Then the line of distinction will be drawn between those who serve God and those who serve him not. So we have this two groups. We have two groups here. We have this group that it says they're going to receive a mark either on their forehead or on their hand. And then it says, and those people that don't receive the mark of the beast, they accept what's called the seal of God. And we read that this seal, this sign, is the fourth commandment, the Sabbath. So we have this group of people over here that are going to introduce something that is a direct homage to the Pope. And in this, there's nothing else than Sunday that shows his blasphemy, that shows his power to change the day or his claimed power to change the day, and it's doing something directly against the law of God. And I understand that some people think, but weren't these commandments nailed to the cross? Aren't these done away with? Aren't these over? Why are we still talking about this? Well, I have a feeling that if someone came and stole your vehicle, that you would think that's bad. And that's one of the 10 commandments. So we can't just choose which commandment feels right to us. We have to obey all that God said. And he said we need to teach our children this. And we need to talk about this when we go home and when we go to bed and when we rise up. This is a theme that goes throughout eternity. This was something that was implemented in the Garden of Eden. In creation, on the seventh day, God rested from all his work. This is not something that was only for the Jews. And if it was, then the 10 commandments were only for the Jews, which means we can murder and steal and rape and everything else, which is absolutely not true. And we have this two groups now. This group that in chapter 7 has the seal of God, but something is going to happen if they don't take the mark of the beast, and that is that they won't be able to buy or sell. Great Controversy, page 605, continued. While the observance of the false Sabbath in compliance with the law of the state, contrary to the fourth commandment, will be an avowal of allegiance to a power that is in opposition to God, the keeping of the true Sabbath in obedience to God's law is an evidence of loyalty to the Creator. It says all this right in the fourth commandment. While one class, by accepting the sign of submission to earthly powers, received the mark of the beast, the other, choosing the token of allegiance to divine authority, receiving the seal of God. You only have two choices. We'll only have two choices. And if we have these two choices, that means we're going to choose between whether we can buy or sell or whether we cannot. So all this New World Order, things that people are talking about, these agendas, whether it be Agenda 2030, Agenda 2050, all these different things, this Earth Sabbath, this is the 15-minute cities, all of this is to do with what we're talking about right here. And we're going to keep going over this more and more because there is so much to talk about. Again, if you have any questions, have any thoughts, put them in the comments below and we will answer your questions. Manuscript Release, Volume 12, page 219. When the power invested in kings is allied to goodness, it is because the one in responsibility is under the divine dictation. When power is allied with wickedness, it is allied to satanic agencies, and it will work to destroy those who are the Lord's property. The Protestant world has set up an idol Sabbath in the place where God's Sabbath should be, and they are treading in the footsteps of who? The papacy. And that's what the papacy said themselves. They said, you're following us. You're following the mandates of the Pope. For this reason. For which reason? The mark of the beast. I don't want you to miss this. This is really, really important. For this reason, I see the necessity. What's the definition of the word necessity? That we must do it. It's necessity. It's life or death. It's a necessity to eat, to sleep. These are necessities. I see the necessity of the people of God moving out of the cities into retired country places where they may cultivate the land and raise their own produce. Thus, they may bring up their children with simple, healthful habits. I see the necessity of making haste to get all things ready for the crisis. What crisis is that? That crisis is this no, buy, or sell crisis. Now, how big of a crisis is this? And we're going to be going through this in more detail, what this really means and what this is actually going to look like when we start looking at some of these different bills, when we start looking at the details of what necessities it takes to survive. Because if you're not allowed to buy or sell, then you can't buy or sell. Nothing, unless you have the mark of the beast. That's food. I mean, let's maybe go to the people in the chats here. And I'm going to ask a question. I want to see what your guys' answers are. So the question is, what does no buy, no sell mean? And what things do you think might be a necessity to get ready for if you can't buy or sell? I just want you to start naming things that you won't be able to buy or sell, maybe things that people aren't even thinking of. Maybe there's more than even what most people are expecting. So put in the chat below what sort of things we might have to prepare for if we can't buy or sell, what areas this is. While we're waiting for you guys to put that in the chat, we're going to take a short break. We have some incredible events coming up. We have a Children's Health Summit, and we have a camp meeting that's coming this fall. And the Children's Health Summit is virtual. You guys can join. It's completely free to join. And we're going to be answering questions there from the different experts. Camp meeting is live here. So don't forget, make your reservation, come in person. I'd love to talk to you, and it's going to be fantastic. We have live workshops that don't get on the live stream. So that's extra things that you guys don't get if you're not here in person. So you're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Are you exploring effective parenting strategies? Unsure about the best ways to discipline your children? Perhaps you're a young couple thinking about starting a family? Join health lecturers Barbara O'Neill and Ron Meinhardt, along with veteran classroom teacher Scott Ristma, as they share their combined experience and invaluable insights on nurturing happy, healthy kids. Discover the secrets of education, loving discipline techniques, optimal nutrition for kids, along with natural remedies for common childhood ailments.
Almost everything I've learned, almost everybody will tell you this, almost everything that we've learned in life did not take place in a classroom, right? So the classroom was like the time you had to serve in order to get onto more interesting things in life.
You know what? There are actually solar panels all around us, and usually we don't even realize it.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, if we look outside on the trees, you know those green things we call leaves? Those are solar panels.
The baby may also, with eczema, have developed an allergy to food. I have spoken to some mothers that have told me even their pediatrician told them to stop the dairy and that would help the baby's eczema, and they said it was true.
Don't miss out on these enriching children lectures, debuting Sunday, June 23rd through Thursday, June 27th at our Virtual Child Development Summit. Register now at events.amazingdiscoveries.org. We look forward to seeing you there.
Okay, everyone. So if you had put in your answers, the question was, what is going to be affected if we cannot buy or sell? Now, this is not an exercise to scare anyone. I want to make that clear because we're going to give solutions, and the solutions from God on how to be protected from all these things. So this is not to scare anyone, but it's just a reality check for some who haven't even thought about this before. So we have here, we can't get a passport if there's no buy, no sell. And maybe we can pull some of these up on the screen there. So we can't get a passport. Someone else said food, water, gasoline. Okay. Another person said no internet if no buy, no sell. Okay, so no internet. Does that mean no Google? No YouTube? I can't figure out how to do these things. Does that even mean that I can't search my digital online Bible and Ellen White quotes? Food, obviously, petrol, all things that we have to pay the government for being able to drive our cars on public roads, education, all clothing, all regular medications, daycare, everything technology. Absolutely. So if we can't buy or sell, that means everything. Can't live many days without water. I agree 100%. You can't live many days without water. That's one of the 8 laws of health. You're not going to last very, not even half a week without having any source of water. So, yeah. Now, this is a good exercise because, and again, someone else wrote, we won't have a phone. So communication lines are going to stop. This seems very drastic. Might seem very drastic for some, but the reality is that if we cannot connect, if we can't pay for these things, how do we have these things? There's no more subscriptions and it's not even that your money's no good. Let's say that their digital currencies don't even come in. But if you don't take this mark of the beast, you will be flagged. You will be marked. They can just ask you, do you want to take the mark of the beast or do you want the seal of God? And your answer is going to determine what happens. Now, God doesn't give us anything without giving us a way of escape. So this is really important that we heed this, and we have many, many examples of this in the Bible, and we're going to go through some of these. We aren't going to get through them today. I did want to get to there was one statement here, one question actually, and this is, do you think AI will actually play a role in propagating the image of the beast in the form of robotics, etc., an automated robotic or virtual clergyman spreading the message? So this was a question here. Will AI be involved? Now, I believe that whatever tools they have, they're going to use. And I believe very strongly that there's going to be people falsely accused of wrongs that have not been done. And we can see that very easily happen with AI, because AI can scan you, can scan your voice, it scans your face, and they can do videos of you doing crimes that you never did and have video evidence, all these things. And if they want to believe something, then there's no evidence that can go against that. Now, I do want to add one caveat here. Now, this mark that is going to be enforced and this seal of God we have to realize there is going to be a group of people that make it. And this is where the hope comes in. It says here that it wants to cause them not to buy or sell. Now, this is true, that they will not be able to buy or sell. But we know that there is going to be an event that takes place later. And it says here in verse 15, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So their intent would be that if you don't follow the system, that you're going to be over. Now, is that the case? I want to go to Revelation 16 quickly, because these end-time events, we have this mark of the beast going to be enforced, choosing which side you're on, and once this is chosen, then something happens. Now, first, in order to do this actually, we're going to go to Revelation 14, verse 9. 14, verse 9. This is what's called the third angel's message. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, so this is a loud thing that we need to be sharing just on the housetops. With a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, what does verse 10 say? The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. So this is what is going to happen on those who receive the mark of the beast. And we're going to go to Revelation 16:1. I'm going to wrap up here pretty soon. There was some more messages here. It says, no more hospital visits. That's a good one. No more hospital visits. No health care. And then someone wrote, probation closed and the plagues hit. Is that correct? Okay, great. This is what we're talking about right here. There's a timeline that we're going to have to go over, because this doesn't all happen on the same day. It's not mark of the beast, plagues, it's all over, Jesus comes, and there's a progression here. There's a flow of events that are going to take place. There's a lot of events still to happen. I know people are under the impression that everything's done. It's not all done. There's a lot to go still. There's a big part of this book here that still has not been fulfilled. And we're going to be talking about all this. So great question, Chris. Chris, make sure you subscribe, because we can't go through that whole timeline today, but we will be going through this. So make sure you don't miss a Prophecy Wire episode. And then another person said, is people in SDA Church going to be sealed before Sunday law? Another fantastic question. Okay, these questions each deserve an answer. So what we're going to do is we have Chris's question, and I'm going to get Kenneth here. Can you grab these questions and just copy them, and we'll save them for later? Just write them down, paste them, that we can answer these in one of the next videos, because these are really good questions. So we're here for you guys. We're trying to do this so that your questions are answered, so that you understand what the Bible is trying to say, and we are doing everything from the Bible. That's why it's open here in front of us. So let's go to Revelation 16 and verse 1. We're going to wrap up here really quick. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. So we have these 7 plagues, the 7 vials. Now, what did we just read in Revelation 14? we're going to be going over this again, guys, so don't stress if it's going too fast. You can always rewatch the live stream also. It says that the people with the mark of the beast get these plagues. So now it says in 16 verse 2, Revelation 16 verse 2, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So this is only for those who are disobedient, those who are following the beast and his image. This is not for the righteous. And we're going to go to Daniel, and we're going to end here today. Great questions. Keep them coming, guys. And next time, if anybody still has questions, make sure you save them, because the questions that happen in the live chat are the ones that we're going to answer first. So if you're here during a live stream, your questions get answered. Okay, Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up. Whole Bible study in itself. Who is Michael? We just did a Bible Answers video on this, so that's going to be coming out very soon on the channel here, guys, and on adtv.watch. Make sure you go to ADTV, because we have study notes, we have bookmarks, we have all these things, and you don't want to miss all the things that happen on adtv.watch, including the events, like the Children's Health Summit. So Michael, stand up, the great prince, was standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. This is talking about the plagues. Time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, because this is the wrath of God without mixture. This is a time of trouble such as never was. But who's it for? And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Wow. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. And we're going to stop there. So we have these two groups here. The mark of the beast, and we have the seal of God. Those who want to honor what God said, or those who want to take this mark that has been enforced by this kingdom, represented as the lamb-like beast, that's putting homage on another kingdom. I keep in my Bible this little blue book here. And it is the Convert's Catholic Catechism of Catholic Doctrine. Now, we'll maybe read this in another episode, but right in here, it says very clearly, like the other quotes that we had, what their agenda is, and what their mark is, and what they're trying to do. So we need to understand this chapter, these verses here, regarding this mark of the beast and all that entails, and how we can avoid it. That's really important, because we do not want to get the mark of the beast, and how we can be spared going through this time. Okay, there's more questions here. We are wrapping up. Okay, I'm going to quickly, Bible Vibes said, practically everyone will have boils, ? Good question. Advice on human settlements in Vancouver article. Okay. The Vancouver article we're going to touch on again, so we can talk about some of the details, what that means, what that's going to look like, and how it's going to affect us in another video. Daniel 12 verse 1 is the third woe. Interesting thought there. We might get into this. I would like to know if the 144,000 is literal. Okay, great questions. And this 144,000 topic is definitely something that we need to talk about, because it is this special group that's talked about in 2 places in Revelation. So we should do at least one, if not more, videos on just that. answering all the questions. So save that. Also, practically everyone will have boils. We will go through the plagues in another video. So let's grab that as well, Kenneth, about the plagues here. Today, specifically, I want you guys to realize this is not a sleep. And if we're seeing things out in the open, how much more is happening behind the scenes? Because we're the last ones to know about the things that are really taking place in the world. So thank you everyone for joining us right now, asking all your questions. These questions are great. Daniel 12:1 and the third woe. This is definitely something that we'll have to cover. Great question. And about the 144,000, that's great as well. And we will definitely be covering these. So don't miss it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share the video with others. If this was helpful to you, please come next time. And we're going to hopefully be doing these on a frequent basis because time is short. And we want everyone to understand how to use their Bible in order to prove these things. We need to be watchmen that rightly divide the word of truth and understand why we say things and why we believe the things we believe. And God's going to help us. God is going to help us with this information. It might seem like a lot, but He has the answer. He doesn't ask anything without giving us the solution. So thank you much for joining us on Prophecy Wire, and we will see you in the next episode. Thank you very much. Bye for now.